Hello guys and welcome, it is ThatSrb2DUDE here today, bringing you yet another Splatoon 2 video. Today we've got a quick tip analysis on the H-3 Nozzlenose. Now the H-3 Nozzlenose is another burst firing weapon. It fires 3 shots per trigger press, and it's also a fairly mid to long range weapon. This weapon is extremely efficient and it paints amazingly well. When firing at opponents, the H-3 Nozzlenose does 41 damage per hit. As this of course is a burst firing weapon, it will always fire 3 shots, so if you connect all 3 shots directly to an opponent, it will instantly kill them. Fall off damage is something to keep in mind, as the H-3 Nozzlenose does a minimum damage of 20.5. Meaning there could be times where you hit all 3 shots, but you still don't get the kill, as there may have been some damage fall off. Now undoubtedly, the H-3 Nozzlenose mobility is not the greatest compared to other shooters in the game. This tends to play a factor when the H-3 Nozzlenose is firing in general, as there is noticeable end lag after each burst fire. This probably means that you don't want to mindlessly shoot with this weapon, as that end lag can bite you in the butt. Now the H-3 Nozzlenose in Splatoon 2 has 3 different variants that you can choose from. First of which, of course, is the regular H-3 Nozzlenose, which comes with a point sensor that will allow you to see opponents through walls, and it also comes with tension missiles, which will allow you to shoot a barrage of missiles, locking on up to 5 targets, which means you could lock onto all 4 of your enemies, and a Rainmaker shield. The second variant is the H-3 Nozzlenose Dolphin, which has the sub-weapon of Suction Bomb. This will allow you to stick a bomb on any sort of flat surface, and it also comes with Ink Armor, which will give yourself and your teammates a shield of armor that will allow you to take 1 or 2 hits from incoming opponents. Lastly, we have the Cherry H-3 Nozzlenose, which has Splash Wall for its sub-weapon. This allows you to deploy a wall that you can shoot through, and will protect you from any enemy fire. It also has Bubble Blower for its special weapon, which will allow you to sling 3 bubbles into its area, which you can then shoot to make a large explosion. These are some of the gear builds that I would run if I was using an H-3 Nozzlenose. Some are very specific, and I'll let you guys know that. The first one we have is basically the all damage up build, which will allow your H-3 Nozzlenose to perform 49.9 damage per hit. This will make it more likely for you to 2-hit opponents instead of directly hitting all 3 shots into an opponent. This case will only apply if an enemy has stood in your ink color, and this build can work for all H-3 Nozzlenoses in the game. The second build is more of a support build and sub-weapon spam. This works especially well for the H-3D, as spamming suction bombs can be really helpful, and spamming of course armor can be really helpful for yourself and everyone on your team. This possibly can work for the regular H-3 Nozzlenose. You probably don't need the ink saver sub for the point sensors, since point sensors in general don't take that much ink. So maybe you could put something like quick respawn on the H-3, or maybe even more special charge up for the Tenta missiles. It all really depends on what you want. And last we have the Cherry H-3 Nozzlenose build. You could run the all damage one with this particular weapon too, but you might want to have some room for Object Shredder. If you do that, make sure you have at least 2 subs of special power up, just to make your bubbles somewhat big. But, you know, if you're not going to go with that, then this particular build would work just fine. It allows you to play off your bubbles pretty well. You have a few more shots after you've thrown an ink wall, so you can play off that as well. And in general, personally, I just think this is just a good build for this particular weapon. I wouldn't really use this for any of the other H-3 Nozzlenoses. When it comes to the H-3 Nozzlenose, I would say that this weapon is a full-on support weapon. The reason for this is mainly because you gotta look at how the weapon performs. It has really good ink efficiency in general. When it comes to painting on the floor, it's one of the best weapons to do that. It paints so much in short spaces of time. It's not even the type of weapon that leaves a bunch of gaps or anything like that, much like maybe like the Splash Up Pro. When it paints, it's basically at full force. A lot of people tend to use the H-3D specifically, mainly because when it comes to supporting and giving your teammates some extra help, chucking a bunch of bombs to actually support your teammates that are going into engagements can really help capitalize and really punish enemies if they aren't in favorable positions. On top of that, you also have Ink Armor, and I did say that this weapon paints extremely well. By chucking loads of bombs and also just being able to paint really well in large quantities, you're going to get a lot of ink armors using this weapon, even when the cost of getting your special is actually 220 ink when using the H-3D. Now, I did say this weapon is a supportive weapon, but it does have really good killing ability. However, that is not the easiest thing, because this weapon requires a huge amount of accuracy, and understanding when it comes to leading shots on moving opponents. By all means, it is not easy to aim with this weapon. So when it comes to using this weapon, there is somewhat of a large skill ceiling to come to grips with. It partly comes from the large amount of end lag you get when firing away with this weapon. Pretty much, if you fail at hitting the 3 shots at an opponent that's coming close to you, there's a high chance that you're going to be taken out straight away. But if you hit those 3 shots, then that opponent's going to be obliterated instantly. The weapon doesn't suffer from any spread or anything like that, even when jumping, so you're going to be 100% accurate whenever you're using this weapon, which is pretty nice to know. It's just that you gotta become triumphant from that end lag and make sure that you're hitting your shots against your opponents. I say a good way to really learn how to use this weapon is to use the Cherry H-3 Nozzlenose. As you do have the splash wall, that'll enable you to actually have some time to really learn to aim and build confidence, as you can kind of use the splash wall as a buffer and have more chance of hitting your opponents. When you've really learned how to shoot with this weapon, then go ahead, try the H-3D or even the regular version. Most likely you're gonna probably stick with the H-3D, but all in all, it depends on what you really want to do. Thank you very much everyone for watching this quick tip analysis. Don't forget to follow all my socials in the description below. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below to let me know what you think. Thank you very much everyone, and I shall see you guys in a future video.